Okay.
Thanks. For the record, this recording is not the property of the county, and the county makes no representations about the accuracy of the recording and is not responsible for its content. The recording is the exclusive property of the union or the recorder, and copies of the recording must be directly requested from the recorder. The county has no obligation under Florida Statute 119, as it is not the county's recording, nor does the county maintain a copy. Okay, the first article we have is Article 1 recognition. We have your article, which adds to it e-community paramedic. As I have told you on several prior occasions, we are not in agreement to add community paramedic in this regard. PERC has a process to clarify a unit or add different positions. Therefore, ours is as stated here, and cleaning it up from the other changes we mentioned before. This reflects what's in the petition. Okay, Zach.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. I think, and I'm sure, Karen, you've read the petition. It covers all EMTs and paramedics of Manatee County. So probably our smartest route is just to simply file a grievance and let it go through the channels that way. We'll take care of it. Understood.
Okay. Yeah, and if it's a grievance or if it's a UC, one or the other, but we don't believe they're the same. So thanks.
Don't they work on the same trucks and do the same job?
They don't do the same job.
No?
They're more like social workers. No, they do not. That would be our position.
Ah, okay. Understood.
Okay. Could we move to Article 3? Okay. Based on your counter offer, we have made some changes to ours. You can scroll down a little, Zach, so we can see this. In essence, we have maintained the individuals who can actually utilize the bank. We've broadened which is highlighted in yellow. The highlights in yellow throughout our presentation today indicate language that we have changed since our last proposal, just to make it easier for everybody so you don't have to sift through the whole article. So we view this as expanding our proposal to you, because I think in our first proposal, we had just included certain types of events that this union business leave bank could be utilized for. Here we've changed it and expanded it to all official union business except contract negotiations. The remainder of that, we did specify what the time provided for in 3A and B will be forfeited by the end of each year. And then when the time would be requested at least 7 days in advance, so we have an opportunity to know who's going to be where and if we can schedule that. And then the remainder are the same. So that will be a part of our package for our counter offer today.
Okay.
And just to go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, just so we're clear and understand, bargaining unit members are donating time for basically the executive board to utilize, yet we're going to set stipulations on what they can't use it for.
Yeah, they have no, today you're using your own time, like everybody's using their own time. Our position is if the union wants a business leave time for the union executive board members, which is what you say. Now we've changed some of the ranks of that to include the union executive board members and specify them as president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, because in your proposal you say executive board. So we're going to create a pool of 100 hours where today there is no such pool. And the way that that pool is created is by the donation of the members for their executive board to attend today in our proposal all official union business, not just the few things that we specified the last time.
Excluding contract negotiations.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if the members want to donate time and they're perfectly fine with the executive board using it for negotiations, it's their time. Why can't they put it where they want?
That is not our proposal. Our
No.
proposal is just for those business entities, for those particular functions that are official union business, excluding contract negotiations.
And then they can't carry it over, so they would just lose it.
Yeah, but I think we did sort of back into these numbers. I don't think there'll be much left over. And in other locations where I've done this, it's usually about an hour a person. It's odd how that works out, regardless of how many members there are in the union. It usually evens out that there may be 3 or 4 hours at the end of the year, but typically that doesn't happen. Typically it's all used. And frankly, you have control over sort of planning out the year ahead of time.
Okay, understood.
Okay. Article 4, dues deduction. This is a package, by the way, and I should go back because I did not state that as we went on to the recording. Our package includes the following, but as we spoke last time, Scott, if there are specific articles you want us to consider outside of that, we will. But our package for today is Article 1, recognition, Article 3, representation, Article 4, dues deduction, Article 5, access to bargaining unit, Article 6, probation, Article 7, seniority, Article 10, vacation, Article 11, leave, Article 17, retirement and health, Article 20, uniforms and grooming, Article 23, grievance and dispute resolution, Article 24, compensation, Article 25, specially charged paramedic, which is the MOU, our Article 27, and Article 30, which is the effective date and term, which would be a 3-year contract, is what we're proposing today.
Understood.
Okay. So in Article 4, dues deduction, we have done a couple of things in this article since our last proposal to you. One is you'll see that we have changed where the form is sent. It should be sent to the County Human Resources Department. That is something we should have changed in the last one. Really, we're really not sure why that was going to the clerk anyway. So that just needs to be changed for those purposes.
Because that's who we were told to send it to.
I understand that, but that really probably wasn't the right place to do it, because then HR doesn't know, have any control over whether or not the clerk is doing it correctly. So,
Okay.
so that is our change. It would be to the Human Resources Department.
We did send it to the Human Resources Department previously, but HR directed us to begin sending it to the clerk. because
Yeah,
it deals
probably
with
because the clerk
payroll.
wanted it, but obviously that didn't work very well. So our proposal is to do it this way.
Understood.
The remainder of that section 1, we have just said, we'll work with you to put a form together to attach to this. We didn't want to, we're happy to work with you rather than confer and whatever. We'll come up with a form and we can just exchange that back and forth. The authorization, and then section 2 is our same last section. And then that renumbers the other paragraphs. What I don't think is highlighted on here, and somehow it fell out off of here, is we removed our request for a fee. I don't know why that's not here to show you that it was taken out, but we have removed that request. So those are our changes. And we probably need to get you one that reflects that.
Understood.
Everything else is the same. Okay. The next is Article 5, access to bargaining unit. This is the same as this is just status quo on access to bargaining unit. We're not interested in setting up designated union representatives to have access to new hires during, I think we walked through this with you several times before about the complications and whether or not we should be doing that at an orientation where there are a lot of different employees and not just these bargaining unit employees, or maybe. So we're not in agreement with your counter proposal, and ours would be just to remain status quo.
Okay. And just to be clear on that, Karen, there's no point. I don't think we ever intended to be in where they're mixed with other employees doing overall county activities. My understanding at some point, specifically EMTs and paramedics have time within their department for part of their orientation. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
Jimmy, is that correct, or? Jimmy's on, Jimmy is here somewhere.
Yep, that is correct. Some of those employees are still not part of the bargaining unit.
Right. And you have access to obviously you have access to employees outside of the work time anyway. But we understand, and our counter proposal is status quo.
They are part of the bargaining unit, though.
I don't know who that was. Was that somebody from the bargaining team talking, Scott, or?
I believe so.
And I think that it's just, we're going to try to keep this, especially since we're on Zoom, to the spokespersons and their designees to participate. Otherwise, we don't know who is talking.
That was Secretary Randy Ward. She has
Okay.
authority.
It would be
to
helpful
speak
if
in
she would
negotiations.
be helpful if she identified herself.
Okay. Anything else on 5?
I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Article 6. Probation. Your proposal was to maintain the current contract language. We had made a couple of changes in here the last time. We just think that doing this by calendar months, and we had changed it from 6 to 12 calendar months from the date of hire, from calculating the hours is less complicated than trying to figure out the number of actual hours and erring on the side, one side or the other. We also clarified in section 5 the business days. That would be 10 business days and not 10 days, which actually extends to. I don't know if you have any questions on that one.
And we haven't gotten to it yet, but staff, do you recall, Karen, under grievance and arbitration, is that references business days or calendar days?
Yeah, and I think that when we get there, we should discuss that. Also in this one, I think what must have happened is as we produce these today, these changed our last package of information to you. We also removed from this is that the EMS chief has the right to extend the probationary period in 6-month increments. That was in section 1, and that has been removed.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're gonna make those changes before you send them over to me?
Yeah, we will. So Scott, it'll take a little longer for us to get it over to you. I was going to try to send it over to you immediately, but we'll get working on that because our note taker is also our scribe. So as soon as we get through our presentation, we'll work on getting those over to you.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask a question about this. So your intention is to take away the hours and it's strictly month based. So no matter how much extra an employee may wish to work, which is an absolute benefit to the county, they can still not clear their first half of probation until the 6 month mark and their second half of probation until the 1 year mark.
Our intention is to do this. Our intention is to move away from a weekly calculation of hours from which anyone can err to the benefit or the detriment of an employee. And to ensure that someone has months of experience, just because I work 12 or 14 hours in one day, doesn't necessarily, or 24 hours in a day, it doesn't necessarily give me the same broad base of experience if I have additional months of time on the job. So our proposal is for two reasons. It's not to in any way provide a detriment to employees. In fact, it could, in some instances, assist them to ensure that we have those calculations correct and provide them additional opportunity to learn on the job. That's our intent.
So this in essence has taken away any incentive for employees in the first year to want to pick up overtime shifts, which has been an issue ongoing for quite a while now, is they can't get people to pick up shifts to cover openings. And so therefore, by switching to this month to month versus the hours, you're removing any incentive whatsoever for employees to pick up additional time in their first year, which has worked out quite well.
Certainly that is a way for the union to look at it, but that is certainly not our intention.
Okay.
That may be your interpretation of it, but it seems to me that the overtime gets rewarded in the amount of overtime pay one receives, not in this function, because we still want people to make sure that they have enough time in the job that they are become more proficient. And we don't want to provide an opportunity where we miscalculate one way or the other. So this will, as the union is always willing to tell us, years from now, we won't be around to interpret this. A month is a month. We don't have to worry about somebody calculating hours and misstepping in that regard.
Well, yeah, Karen, and I mean, no offense, but there's not a person at the table now that can tell me I was wrong when I say that. So
that's today.
I feel pretty good about that.
Union always loves to tell me that we can't rely on the people who are here today. So
I know. My other question is, and I know you don't know the answer to this, Karen, but if somebody that does, if they could speak up, what is the average FTO time for a new hire employee before they're turned out on their own and allowed to function without being with an FTO?
Hey, Scott, this is Jimmy.
Yes.
So it depends on the employee and what classification you're talking about, but it's between 4 and 6 months.
Okay. So they're actively working as a, I guess for lack of a better word, a third person on a rig for 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the classification. Yes.
Yeah, well, let's go with the most difficult one, like charge medic, I guess. That would be the higher classification, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay. So they ride as a third with an FTO, evaluating them for a full 6 months, typically.
Yeah, I mean, there's some operational decisions that have to be made. Sometimes if that individual can function at an EMT level and there's a staffing need, then that person will be covering an ambulance in an EMT capacity. But on average, it's 6 months.
Okay. And then an EMT, I assume a little
4
shorter,
months.
4 months. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I don't think we have any other questions on this article, Karen.
Okay. We can move to Article 7.
I'm sorry, this is Flo. I do the minutes. Can I take just a 2 minutes? Something just happened on my side of the computer. I apologize.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch what you said.
Hear that, Flo?
Can I get 2 minutes?
Oh, sure.
Sorry.
And certainly the county is welcome to request to Clint a copy of the record, and if there's any other deficiencies that you want to catch up on.
I think we had too many people talking at the same time for flow.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that happens. Even in person.
Mhm. Flo, just let us know when you're ready to move forward.
Go ahead.
Okay. In Article 7, this is the same as our prior proposal. And what it reflects, Scott, is really the recognition article in one. So there really isn't any change.
Okay.
Okay. So Article 10, which is coming next, we have made some, I think, significant changes in this and the compensation article that are close to everything we have to offer. So I would hope that the union will look at this favorably. And in Article 10, we have actually increased, and it's highlighted in yellow here, the vacation allotments. Let me get the current article so I can walk you through them. So in our last proposal for the hours, they were the same. So you will see in the first to end of 5 years, we have increased from 7.64 hours or 198.72 hours to 8.56 hours to 198 and from, sorry, to 222, and from 6.1 to 6.17 from 571 and to 160.5 from 148.5. Likewise, 6 to the end of 10 years, we have increased those from 9.08 to 10 for a total of from 236.16 to 260.16. From 6.76 to 7.22, and then from a total of 175.80 to a total of 187.80. From 11th to end, from 10.48 to 29 for a total of 10 to a 11.40, and from a total of 272.56 to a total of 296.56, and also from 7.81 to 8.27, and from a total of 2.03.1 to a total of 2.15.10. So that is an increase, I think, mirrors what the union had looked at. We can move through. We've Zach, if you can move down to the next page. I think the subsection B was stricken earlier. Section H is also changed to reflect, we changed the section number, and after the annual bidding process has occurred, remaining available vacation positions as defined in A above shall be submitted via the current process through the electronic scheduling system at least 72 hours in advance. And I think the electronic scheduling is mentioned also in section 3. Putting it down, that section 3 remains the same as our last proposal. I think one of the things you did was to move the electronic language up further, but we've left it where it was at the end of all this. You want to scroll down some more, Zach, for us so we can see the entire page? These are all the same as our last proposal. And you will see that at the bottom of this, you had included at the end of yours the concept of electronic scheduling, but we included that scroll up under section 3, subsection B. So really that language is similar to yours, except the placement of it. We just placed it up here.
Okay, we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, and we'll get that redlined and highlighted for you so you can see the difference.
Okay, understood.
Okay, move to 11. Our proposal for this is the same as our initial proposal. We believe that we can short circuit all these articles by we made the changes that the union specifically discussed to Article 11. If you scroll down some, Zach, we can show you where our changes, which were made specifically based on comments you made during negotiations. We put back in the sick leave language and the jury duty, military leave, witness leave, domestic violence leave, and bereavement leave because there were questions. But for the remainder of those articles, we believe we can just make the contract shorter, and by keeping it in line with the current county rules and regulations, which haven't changed. So it's our same proposal.
Okay.
Okay. Article 17 in your package, you had proposed a match. I think you had proposed that before. Our counter is to reject that and just maintain status quo for this Article 17.
Can you scroll down to where it was proposed?
It probably won't be in this one because this is our article, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So yours is like a separate subsection 3, Scott, that you had put in.
Yeah, understood. Just, and I may have asked the question before, so if I did, I'm sorry. What we proposed, the county currently has, correct?
No, we don't do a match.
No, you don't do a match, but you have a plan that a individual can contribute into, correct?
Yeah. Jimmy, can you or someone address the current 457
Yes.
plan?
That's correct. They can contribute into it independently, yes.
Okay. So all the provisions are set up with the county and it's active and people participate.
Yeah.
Okay, understood.
Okay. Article 20, we have, you would scroll through that one. And I guess one of the things that concerned us in looking at this is that your article continues to include a request for a key. There are no keys. So perhaps that was just an error, but there isn't a key. We're not going to make a key. There's no reason to have a key.
Okay.
But our proposal, and I think we walked through this another time with you, we also proposed what a general order would look like that we would work with you on, and what those things and clothing items would be. And that is still our proposal.
Karen, I didn't understand what you said. There's no key?
Yeah, in the items, and Jimmy, if you know exactly where this is, we can draw our attention to it more quickly.
I know you have a key.
We do not have a key, sir,
We don't.
but it's in the enumerated uniform items.
All right, let me make a note because I'm sure it was left in there as an oversight.
Oh, there is no department issued station key, and it's in your proposal again. We don't have a key.
I'm sure it was missed.
So, yeah. So our proposal is as it was.
Are you willing to create a key?
No,
Oh, okay.
we had a key, but there are no more keys.
These guys really like keys.
I understand. We're trying to move into the 20th century, not just the 21st.
Would you consider a fob? Understood.
And you had said that you didn't, I don't think we have any changes on the, on Article 23, grievance and dispute resolution. I wasn't sure, the comment that you made was the union unclear. I don't think we have any changes. And you had said something about business days and the difference in this. And I think what you were referencing was that you wanted us to put business days in here, but I'm not sure.
Well, I was just trying to maintain some consistency.
Yeah.
You know, though probationary period is not typically subject to grievance and arbitration, if we were to find that there was some other issue that needed to be addressed, I don't want to be outside the timeline. So I don't want, they should be consistent as far as either the calendar days or business days.
I think
Usually,
the majority of this though is business days as I scroll through here. So we
Yeah,
didn't
no.
really, yeah,
and that's fine.
yeah.
So then just for clarification, the county has no proposed change on Article 23.
See any, I don't think we have any changes. I think this is the same thing we proposed before.
Well, and that's what I was curious about, is why would we propose something if it was no change?
Well, because the whole contract's open, right? So we just included it in there. If we want to TA it and the union doesn't have any changes, we're happy to carve this one out.
Okay, I'll confirm with us, but I don't think we do, Karen, so maybe we
Okay.
can.
I think at one point in time, it might have been on one list and then maybe it came off, but we didn't have anything in there. So we're happy to do that. Just confirm, let us know. That'd be great.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, now hopefully our changes came through in this compensation article because this is significant. And as we open the compensation article, I want you to know we spent a lot of time. In fact, this is part of what we were trying to finalize today so that it was understandable to everyone. Zach, as soon as you can get 24 open, that'd be great. So Article 24 compensation, we have highlighted in yellow. First of all, I do totally recognize that the union is interested in moving to a step plan. Conceptually, we are not. The county is not. So our changes reflect consistently with what we do here and what this county's preference is for the way it compensates its employees. Having said that, we analyzed the union's presentation and your last proposal. And in doing so, we discovered something very interesting. The proposal we are putting forth today positively impacts 64% of the employee population and would make the employees in this unit one of the most highly paid, if not the highest paid in the general area. The union's proposal, in contrast, only positively impacts 36% of the employee base. So we believe these numbers will reflect a significant increase. These increases, if you would scroll down some, or maybe even make the screen a little bit smaller, Zach, so we could see more of this presentation. These would be the proposed changes in the pay ranges and the basic structure. The general wage increase, make that a little bit smaller so they can see the 4% in there. We have increased our change to be from, our last proposal was at 3%. This proposal is at 4%. So the way this would operate was effective the first full pay period following ratification of the agreement. The bargaining unit members will be placed into these new pay grades associated with their classification at the greater of either the new pay rate, grade minimum, or a 4% increase to their base hourly rate of pay. It's an increase of these numbers are increased, as is this, what they will receive in this proposal. If you would scroll down, Zach, to the merit performance-based compensation. If you recall our last presentation, these numbers were lower, 2.5 to 1.5. We have increased that. And what this means is that in fiscal year 23, these are merit-based, based on the matrix that the union worked out with the administration here and with management. The increases based on your merit, distinguished performance role model, for example, the 4.5 to 5 would be a 3% increase. That would be, the employees would be entitled to receive that based on these ratings for the last pay period for fiscal year 23. But just so we're clear, Scott, that is December of 22. And for fiscal year 24, which is actually December of 23. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, we wanted to clarify that. We spent a little time on that language to make sure everyone understood. But this part of our pay proposal is a significant increase over the last, and in analyzing the step plan that was forwarded, there are almost double the number of employees. There are 64% of the employees will be positively impacted by the county's proposal. If we scroll through the remainder of this, I think that's just the same. There's just scroll down a little. These are the same as the last time. There's nothing different in the remainder of this. Okay. You have any questions about how that pay structure would be implemented? Scott?
No, I'll read through it, and if I do have any questions or for clarification, I'll email you.
Yeah, because I mean, it significantly for charge paramedic increases the annual max up to $80,000, which we and for specialty paramedics to $84,000, which we think is a significant opportunity. So moving along.
Clint, you-
I got a question. Can you scroll down to the bottom where you got the percentage and stuff like that for people getting hired? Scroll down to the bottom of this article.
Zach, can you scroll down? I don't know if you could hear.
Keep going. Keep going. Get down to the specialty charge paramedic and then the section 5 after that. So section 4 and section 5. Two questions.
Sure.
First, on section 4, I want some clarification here. The way I'm reading this is that FTOs no longer get a 5% raise because they are not assuming additional risk and significant additional certifications or physical requirements to satisfy external qualifications, example, SWAT or firefighter charge paramedic. So is your intention to remove the 5% that the FTO gets, or is this just poorly worded and it's actually supposed to include the FTOs as well?
Jimmy, do you want to comment?
Sure. I would say that this is worded the way that it was written during the last negotiations, Clint. And the specialty pay classification is for FTOs. And then there's an article towards the end of this package that spells out some additional, the testing, it incorporates the MOU into an article.
I'm reading section 4, and it specifically notates that a specially charged paramedic classification is an assignment that requires significant additional risk and additional certifications or physical requirements. So
Okay, is an FTO a specialty charged paramedic?
based on this, they don't assume any additional risk or physical requirements to satisfy external qualifications.
And let me just back up for 1 second and make this a little simpler. Is it the county's intention not to change the 5% for the FTO? Is that in any dispute?
No.
No,
No.
okay. So
Don't
when we
try to
counter
take
back,
any money away from anyone.
okay, no, I just want to make sure we're clear. So when we counter back, we just clarify that so there's no gray area there.
And then in section 5, starting wages, it was requested of the union to suspend this section effective immediately in order to get people hired. Do you have a specific proposal that you wish to provide to us today as a potential MOU for that? Because we're kind of in the middle of negotiations, so it's kind of odd to suspend portions of the current contract that we're living under and currently negotiating.
No.
No, and I don't do the impact bargaining. My task here is to propose changes to the collective bargaining agreement. So my proposal today with the county does not include that. No, it doesn't.
Well, and again, I think we're just looking for clarification. Is this something, obviously it's kind of hard to bargain with you, Karen, if there's additional conversation about altering the terms of the contract. So,
Yeah, agreed. If there's side conversations with the union and the union as well, it's hard, I'm sure. So we'll talk about that, but that is not part of this presentation today.
okay, understood.
Scott, Zach, if you could move to Article 25. I can walk you through this. Jimmy can help walk through it, but basically the initial changes in this first page deal with mostly just cleanup language, Scott. For example, Myakka City Fire Control District just merged with East Manatee. So there really isn't a Myakka City Fire Control District.
Correct.
So we're trying, the words that we put in here are really to change and provide for opportunities when they're either an interlocal agreement or interagency agreement or whatever that is with other entities. So, because it's really broader than that. The rest of this, and Jimmy, jump in here because you were instrumental in doing this. Jimmy the chief pulled this over from the MOU. And as we said, we would move it into the article. So Zach, if you could just scroll down so we can see the remaining changes.
There really is no changes besides changing the governmental agency just to entity, and everything else is the same from the MOU.
So if after we present this to you, if you have specific questions, we're happy to address those. But really the intent of this was our changes today is just mostly clean up language to the MOU to provide for correcting when, other agencies that we work with, but everything else is should be the same.
Okay, yeah, I'll go through it with the team and
Article, and I can tell you this just very quickly, Article 27, we don't really need to walk through Article 27 and 30, I think just to save some time. Article 27 is the equipment article that you union reject. Our proposal is the same as it was on September 23rd if there's damage to equipment. And Article 30 will be, we're proposing a 3-year term. You have a question on Article 28 in your proposal to us that says TBD, but our records show that that was already TA'd. So I'm not sure.
on 28,
Yeah,
I'll take a look, Karen. It may not have deleted.
yeah, that's all. And that's our entire package. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that to you because that was one we thought we had TA'd. So
I think Article 28 is just the
the
date the
savings.
contract was signed.
Yeah.
Isn't that in there?
It's
So
the
the-
savings clause, I think.
Yeah, I'll look and see. I don't think there was anything amiss
Yeah,
with
I
that.
don't either. I don't.
Yeah, okay, I'll take a peek. Why don't we take a few minutes, Karen, if you don't mind? We'll go over. I know that we don't have the proposals yet, but I just want to talk to the team for a minute and see if anything big jumps out at them.
The one thing I could do, if you think this would be helpful, would be to send you these articles, but I don't want to confuse you until we go fix them.
Yeah, no, I'd prefer just to get the fixed versions and
Okay.
not create any confusion, but I've taken notes and I'm sure my team's got a few questions. So I just want to make sure I didn't not ask anything that somebody would like clarified today while we're here.
Okay, all right, we'll sign out and just email me when you're ready to join back in.
Will do.